Hey everybody, Tony D with a late night follow-up. So much has happened since I ran through the news earlier today. I thought I'd get my videos done a little earlier, get them up on YouTube and BitChute and Rumble, don't forget. And it's just crazy. A bunch of stuff broke afterwards, and this is just about the shooting that caused the riot, right? First off, the peaceful protesters have broken into a Dollar Tree. Probably the dumbest looting of all time. I mean, really? A Dollar Tree? Why don't you just loot a thrift store? I mean, it's a Dollar Tree. Everything in there is $1. Why even bother? Why even bother? Anyhow, I'm not going to show the video, but the body cam footage is out. You can look it up yourself. And it's not good for the officer, let me tell you. Apparently what happened is, during the stop, they were arresting him, the suspect. He broke free, jumped in his car, and the female officer pulls out her gun, but she thinks she has her taser. Right? Big mistake. She's in huge trouble. Huge trouble. She's probably going away. She ends up shooting him, not realizing she's got her gun instead of her taser. He, of course, drives off, crashes, and then they catch up with him. She's just... I cannot tell you how done I think she is. It's a shame. It's a shame for everybody, but my God, when you make a mistake like that, it's shocking. It really is. And it just goes to show you, I mean, people are human. That's why it's not a good idea to blindly listen to everybody. Not that I think this guy should have ran. You should not run from the cops. They have guns. Okay? If he didn't run, this wouldn't have happened. But if they didn't have so many laws on the books that we libertarians would like to get rid of, they wouldn't have even had the pretense to pull him over. Okay? Razor Fist was pointing out, and yeah, this is the majority of why libertarians would like to go back to a simpler time when the cops, well, they couldn't pull you over unless they had really good reason, unless they saw, you know, you're swerving all over the road, you're committing a crime, you got somebody kidnapped and they're screaming. You know, it has to be. And yes, guilty people will go free. Guilty smart people, they'll go free because they'll just smoke their pot and, you know, keep it on the down low, and they'll be fine. And really, pot shouldn't be illegal either. But so this whole tragedy could have been avoided if we just had very simple, basic laws that protected people's privacy. So it's a shame. It's really a shame. I mean, it's a shame for the guy. He lost his life over what? Over not wanting to go to prison, probably not mostly, but partially due to these ridiculous laws. So, more fallout from it. Brooklyn Center city manager was fired after saying officer is entitled due process, which is pretty outrageous, considering that she is entitled to due process, and that's what she'll get. I'm sure, you know, they're probably going to not go too easy on her. You know, this is a big mistake at a time Minnesota couldn't afford this mistake. I mean, Rashida Tlaib is already calling for the defunding of the police again, which is absolutely insane. I mean, if you didn't have those cops there, would this guy be alive? Yeah, sure. But what about all the other people who get killed because these maniacs would burn the city and loot? Look, you can't have it both ways. If you have cops, You got to have cops. And you got to deal with having cops, and everybody's got to be on board. If you don't want cops, okay, it's Wild West time. That means everybody gets a gun or a few guns, and they hire private security. And if you bust down somebody's door, say goodbye. Say your prayers. Because that's the way it's got to be. It's one or the other. Okay? The leftists, they of course don't want any of this. What they want is the collapse of the state. So they're just pushing and pushing and pushing this. I'm sure Antifa and BLM are just pushing and pushing and pushing because, oh, it's so unfair, it's so unfair. But a communist utopia will make everything right. And the really big news, and I don't know if this is for sure, but it comes from Jack Posobiec, who's pretty good on this. He said, now I had said earlier today that the National Guard was called out. I thought I read it in Breitbart, but I couldn't find the article again. Apparently that's, according to him, it's not true. He never called the National Guard. So what the hell's going on in Minnesota? Are you still letting the place burn to the ground? What the hell, man? I mean, okay. What you did under Trump was stupid, wrong, and I thought politically motivated. If you're still not calling in the National Guard, what the F is wrong with you? Are you trying to tear down the whole country? What is wrong with you? Have you signed on for this? Have the communists bought you off? Yeah, let's start the revolution in Minnesota. This isn't going to end well. Because I'll tell you right now, when Democrats send the National Guard in, they shoot. Okay? When the Democrats send people in, violence happens. Yeah, I know. I find it odd that I'm even saying it, but it's true. I mean, look at Waco. Waco was mostly the Democrats going, okay, we've had enough. Torch the place. And it's happened a bunch of other times. So I don't know where we're going with this at this point. The judge won't sequester the jury. Okay. That's not good. At this point, is it just a matter of time before the rowdy mob breaks into the courtroom and just drags Chauvin out? Because that feels like where we're headed. Will the cops stop this? Will the cops be allowed to stop this? Who the F is running things? See, this is partly due to the fact, I think, that they tried to defund the police and then a bunch of police officers quit or retired or moved to other states, which who could blame them? So you're left with people who are trained but only partially trained. Maybe they're not veterans, but they needed people, and they scrambled to get them. And we got to be super woke about it. So, this woman, I guess she panicked and grabbed the wrong weapon. She is in so much trouble. I just can't believe it. I didn't think this could get much worse. I mean, even if, the shoot, and I watched the video several times because I was just confused. I was just like, did she say, I'm going to tase you and then shoot the guy? What the F? Like, she was standing behind the other cop. Obviously, the other cop was focused on the suspect. She just pulled out her gun. I mean, she didn't know the difference in that moment. She didn't know the difference between her gun and the taser. I'm under the impression that tasers are usually brightly colored, weapons. They're like bright yellow plastic. They got to have a different weight because guns are made of metal for the most part, right? I don't know how she could have made that mistake. What a mistake. So, the riots are continuing. This is just the biggest S show of all time. Um, I don't know what else to say about it other than if you want to watch the riots live, there's a guy on YouTube called Austin Zone. A friend of mine told me about, and he covered a lot of the Portland stuff, and now he's covering the Minnesota riots. And there, by the way, there are BLM and Antifa marches all over the country again. So in all the major cities, including Fort Lee, New Jersey, which I will be watching with interest because I think they're going to be extra careful in New Jersey because of the laws here. But it'll be interesting to see if anything breaks out and what the cops do. Because if the cops do nothing, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. Remember, cops, in New Jersey, Antifa is considered a terrorist organization, so feel free to lock these guys up. If you're not going to lock people up for looting and rioting, what good are you? Okay? What good are you doing? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where you are, but if you're anywhere near Minnesota, my suggestion is to make plans on moving. So, we'll see you tomorrow, probably with another horrific update.